Hello, and welcome back to Geek Refuge. I'm your host again, Raimundo, followed by Christopher Kane and Anthony Yam.
Hi! What's up?
So on this episode, we're going to be tackling Halo 2, my personal favorite Halo in the trilogy. Alright, so what is the main plot of Halo, Chris? Halo 2, at least.
Well, okay. You're Master Chief.
Again.
And you wake up on a space station. And you also see some elite being dragged to a courtroom. And while you're doing your Master Chief stuff, you also get to see this court hearing. Now, Chief is getting his stuff checked when Johnson comes in. Johnson, who is,
Who's basically like the father figure to Master Chief, kind of like...
I know what the ladies like. He's the sexy black man.
Really?
So essentially, Johnson, they're like, "Are you done yet?" "I'm not done yet, Johnson. You gotta tell me how you got out of that ring." Black, that's classified. And so you don't actually
way racist, but that's not even close to how the conversation went.
But you know who's racist?
He's asking the Marine, "Are you done with the Chief here?" And he's like, "I'm almost done. I need to run some more specs." And then after all of that, you get into the elevator with Johnson, and then the Marine asks, "I need to ask you how you got off that Halo ring." And he's like, "That's classified." And he's like, "Classified my ass." Blah, blah, blah. And then it fades away because you go up into the elevator.
Yeah. He dead anyways.
Nowhere near that racist.
No, racist is called Jacob.
Hey. You get into a elevator, and you begin to ride to the place where they're having a ceremony for you. And Johnson tells you, "I told you to wear something nice." And the Chief, as usual, being kind of like monotone as fuck and not really saying any much, he just kind of just comments.
No, it cuts between two different things that are going on.
Yeah, it goes to that court hearing thing. And in the court hearing, you find out that this elite was in charge of safeguarding Halo when Chief fucked everything up.
And blew it up.
Yeah. And he goes, "I will continue my campaign against the humans." And the leaders of the Covenant tell you, "No, you will not. You will go to shame." And you think he's going to get executed, and you get to see what it looks like when an elite is naked.
And basically what they're doing is they're putting him kind of putting him on blast for failing. Like
his raptory naked body.
What's it called? In the Covenant hierarchy, failure is not an option. You fail, you either die or you can be turned into what's it called, a heretic.
Yeah. You either live long enough to be a hero, or you die failing the Covenant.
Or you be turned into a heretic. Now the reason why this elite isn't executed right away or exiled and turned into a heretic is because the High Command have a special task for this elite.
They make him an arbiter, which is considered both a blessing and a curse. They are an elite unit within the Covenant, but at the same time, they're also seen as
great shame.
Yeah, because one of the first arbiters waged war against the Covenant, and there's a whole little animated thing about it, and it's honestly a badass animated short.
Yeah.
But because of his rebellion, the arbiter is seen not only as a symbol of the Covenant's power, but also an enemy to the Covenant.
By this point, it switches back to the Master Chief, and
space station gets attacked.
Yeah, Johnson's telling you about how you're back orbiting Earth in the space station. He's telling you about all the different defense cannons that they have guarding Earth. They're talking about how strong humanity has gotten since the first time they found Halo and they fought the Covenant over Halo. And by this point, as the player and as Master Chief, you're thinking, all right, humanity's doing pretty damn good for itself. I don't see why I have to be wearing all this damn armor, but might as well just keep going and wearing it. You go to the ceremony. What's the admiral's name?
Lord Hood. He's the leader of the UNSC military.
Lord Hood gives Johnson a medal for bravery, which is basically their version of the Medal of Honor. He gives he doesn't give the chief anything, does he?
He doesn't give the chief anything.
He gives what's it called? Samantha Keys. Is it Samantha?
Yeah, Miranda Keys.
Miranda Keys, which is Captain Keys' daughter.
Still not as hot as Miranda.
What's it called? Captain Keys' daughter. They give her a medal in a display case for her father, Captain Keys, because obviously he passed away.
As a giant scrotum sack.
And or whatever, he tells her that he'll be remembered and stuff like that. And that's when Cortana pops up and says that there are, what's it called? Where there are like glitches in the slip space nearby. And she, what's it called? She informs everyone that there's something going on, and then Covenant battle cruisers come out of slip space right near Earth. And they gear up for battle, but there's way less than there should be. So they're thinking, why would they send so little to fight us on our home planet with the most defense guns we have? And then they find out they're sending millions of boarding parties to go and take out what they call Mac guns in the Halo universe, which are basically like really big rail guns.
They're rail guns, yeah. And well, the Covenant needs to be stopped. So, in honor, and it's basically just like with the first game, you fight through the human space station, kill a shit ton of Covenant, and then do one of the most badass things in gaming history. You take a bomb the Covenant were trying to use to blow up the station, and you deliver it back to the Covenant by riding the explosion to them. Then right after that, the game goes black, and you go back to the Elite, find out that he's going to become the Arbiter. He gets his Arbiter armor, and you go to do the first mission as an Elite of the Covenant, which I personally think was cool, and they should have brought that back in Halo 3, but no, they did not.
Where are we at? We're on
the Covenant mission.
The first Covenant mission.
Oh, I'll pause it real quick. So you start the Covenant mission, and you're basically going to a ancient Forerunner station, and you have to go kill a Covenant heretic, who is an Elite who's anti-Covenant. And so you fight through them, kill a bunch of them, then you find out that the Flood happens to be here. So yes, you have to fight the Flood. There's more of them. Seriously, Forerunners, you really fucked up at your job.
Yeah, somehow the Flood keep finding a way to get off of Halo rings or survive the blast somehow.
For some reason, the Forerunners, this is actually the reason why we keep running into the Flood. For some goddamn reason, the Forerunners like to keep Flood stationed on their planets and stations to be studied. And that lets the Flood multiply.
Yeah.
Because the Forerunners are mentally handicapped.
I mean, they're really smart. They just
are so
had a dumb choice. They either could have destroyed all the Flood or destroyed most of the Flood but kept some of them as specimens to test. Well, wouldn't you, if you were a scientist, that's basically what the Forerunners were. They were scientists. Wouldn't you keep one of the most intriguing life forms known to your knowledge?
No, you know why?
Why?
Because I remember the way that I'm getting rid of the rest of them is by launching genocide rings that will kill me. I have robots launch a genocide ring for me. When am I going to get to study these Flood? I'm sorry, but the Forerunners, they aren't that smart.
Oh, God.
They're like, nah, I'm not going to use that analogy. Not safe for work, kids.
Anyways, after the first mission, you actually get to play as an Elite for the first time. You play as the Arbiter.
And you learn more about Elite culture.
You find out, you meet Elite, what is he? Is he a captain or is he a general?
Which one? The one with the missing jaw line?
Yeah.
That's called Half-Jaw. He's a captain.
You meet an Elite captain by the nickname of Half-Jaw because he's missing 2 of his mandibles. So
he's also the first Covenant. He's also the very first Covenant Elite to engage in the Flood.
Yeah.
So he has experience. He can smell them from a mile away.
Also, in this game, they introduced a new mechanic called dual wielding.
Dual wielding, which then they got rid of.
Yeah, because I don't know, they didn't. Well, Halo 4 and 5, they got rid of it. Halo 3 had dual wielding.
Reach didn't though.
Well, Reach is precursor.
Yeah. But yeah, so you don't have dual wielding in the game. And well, you have dual wielding in this one. Well, after the Elite mission, you find 343 guilty sparks, and also have to deal with a brute chieftain. The brutes are basically what the Covenant wants to use to replace the elites. The brutes are assholes.
Brutes go by their name. They're brutes. They're extremely big, bulky guys that are really strong. Not the smartest people in the world, not as elegant as elites are, but they get the job done where it needs to be done. And what's it called? The Covenant hierarchy is planning to just overthrow the elites with brutes because they feel like the brutes can do a better job than elites because they're realizing elites are getting smarter than what they already are, and they're figuring out that the Great Journey is a big lie, and it's really just their way of saying, "Hey, die for us because you'll go to heaven, basically.
You'll go to super heaven." And they're like, "Well, where do you go?" "We go to super duper heaven." They believe that when the mass genocide rings blast, they become gods.
Yeah.
Which is all a lie.
And that's their whole goal. They want to set off the Halo rings and kill everything.
Well, the next mission is the new Mombasa mission, where you as Master Chief fight on the streets of an African city in Earth. And it is badass. Oh my god. You fight from street to street like you're fighting into some city on Earth. And then after that, you then go drive across the beach and through subway tunnels and fight Covenant while driving. And then, the best part of the entire mission, you have to fight a Scarab. Like I mentioned from the Halo 1 discussion, the Scarab is basically a giant walking tank with spider legs. It's like a War of the Worlds style tank, and it is badass as fuck. Ray?
The Scarab tank is possibly the most terrifying thing that you will ever see in your life. It's the size of...
Besides seeing your grandma naked.
Besides seeing your grandmother naked. It's like the size of, 4 or 5... What is it, 4 or 5 battle cruisers, kind of? It's really, really big. And it has the strongest gun besides the... what's it called? The glass cannon that Covenant used. It's called the Scarab beam rifle. Well, not beam rifle. Just
beam cannon.
Beam cannon. And it can literally cut a building in half if it needs to. It normally doesn't, but it can cut a building in half.
And you have to destroy it. You board it, kill a bunch of elites, destroy it. Then, for some reason, the Covenant, the leader who had led the attack, launches slip space, which is their way of doing hyperspace. Because it's a video, we won't be able to see it.
But it's the audio.
Okay, I'll listen to the audio real quick. Oh, this is the beginning of the mission, which is one of the best parts of the game.
We regret being alien masters. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet. Hoorah!
Regret isn't name, Sergeant. The name of one of the Covenant's religious leaders, a prophet. He's on that carrier, and he's calling for help.
Immediate. Grid Kilo 2-3 is hot. Recommend mission abort.
Roger, Recon. It's your call, Sarge.
We're going in. Get tactical, Marines!
Master Chief, get aboard that carrier. Secure the Prophet of Regret. This is the only place on Earth the Covenant decided to land. That Prophet is going to tell us why.
Whoa.
And that's the opening to the mission, which is pretty freaking awesome. Well, because the Covenant are losing, they launch a slip space into there, and you have to follow them. You follow them, and you get to, guess what? Another Halo ring.
Yeah, you stumble upon another one. And
More Halo rings.
This is where you realize that there isn't just one ring, that there's multiple rings.
It should be like a set of Halo onion rings.
Basically, is a set of Halo
God
onion
damn it,
rings.
why'd you have to mention onion rings?
I want some onion rings now.
No food.
Well, so after that, you then engage the Covenant on the planet, and it's a pretty cool mission. This is where you first get to meet the ODSTs, which are the wannabe Spartans, but are still pretty freaking awesome. They're just ordinary dudes. They sit in little boxes and get blasted into a planet from orbit.
Oh, kind of like pre-sequel.
Kind of, yeah. what's it called? Where are we at?
We're talking about the mission, the Halo mission. Basically, you land on the Halo, fight several Covenant warriors over and over again, till you get to an underground facility, and then you kill a prophet.
Oh, yeah, okay. This mission. This mission is probably a more interesting one because you actually get to kill a leader of the Covenant somehow with the easiest possible fight I've ever done in my life.
You beat him to death.
Like, they float on chairs, and they don't really fight back. They have shields, but they don't fight back. They have their guards protect them, and you kill elite honor guards, which are ridiculously overpowered compared to every other elite. But the way you kill the Prophet of Regret is you punch him in the face until he dies. It doesn't make any sense on why that should work. You should just be able to shoot him, but instead you punch him in the freaking face until he just keels over and dies.
So how people normally die.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And the way this mission ends is kind of... It's almost a mini cliffhanger in the way this mission ends.
Because then you go to another elite mission.
Yeah, because you're playing the Master Chief, and it cuts into a cutscene after you kill the Prophet of Regret. And, what's it called? The ring... Is the ring firing, or is...
No, it's not firing. Nothing's happening.
Oh, isn't the...
The rest of the Covenant fleet has arrived.
Yeah, the rest of the Covenant fleet has arrived, but they're also going into... Aren't they going into slip space?
Yeah.
Like, right above you. They're going into slip space right above you, which causes a blast wave. Normally, slip space is done in space because it has extremely big blast radius. Mm-hmm. And as the Master Chief, you're trying to get away from that. Obviously, you can't get away from it, but you run and jump off, and you land in some water, and you start floating down, and you think it's the end of the Master Chief. He's
dead.
He's in an ocean, and then a tentacle comes out from underneath the darkness, grabs the Master Chief, and pulls him away.
I've seen enough Japanese TV to know where this is going.
And then it cuts from there to the elite mission. It goes right in, so you think Master Chief has died. There's no way the Master Chief is alive.
And I'm guessing these suits don't float.
Oh, no.
They're 15 tons. I don't think they float. Why else would you die if you walk 10 feet into water? It just insta kills you.
Which, what I never understood is, why do the ODSTs die in water? Their suits are made of a very lightweight material.
But it's still heavy.
What's lightweight?
Yeah, what's lightweight in the Halo universe? We don't know what this lightweight material is, sir. Everything we make is made out of titanium.
Okay, well, after that you do the elite mission, and you see that the Covenant are being replaced by brutes a lot. So the elites have been pretty much disgraced. You go in to engage battle on a silent cartographer, and you have to fight not only the UNSC, but the Flood.
More Flood.
More Flood.
The Flood are just... They are the parasite that the Covenant should be fighting, but they decide to fight us because they are religious idiots.
Religious nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By this point, the elites realize what's happening. They realize that the Covenant hierarchy, the prophets, are lying to them.
And now they've ordered the mass genocide of the elite species by the brutes. The Great Schism, as they like to call it.
Yeah.
Well, the Arbiter gets pushed off a cliff and gets picked up by a tentacle.
This is where you realize that everything that's happening is going according to someone else's plan.
The hive mind, or the grave mine.
The grave mine, which is basically... It's basically the big daddy of all the Flood. It controls all the Flood.
And it reminds you of Seymour, or not Seymour, of, what was his name? You know, from Little Shop of Horrors. Feed me, Seymour!
It looks like a giant tentacle monster. It is a giant tentacle monster, but it speaks.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. It's basically a Japanese schoolgirl's nightmare.
Yeah, it speaks to you. It's actually extremely, extremely old and extremely smart. It was there when the first time the Flood came to be and fought the Forerunners, and it's still there to this day.
Yeah. It's the only surviving gray mine, apparently. Or supposedly.
That we know of. And it talks to the Master Chief and it talks to the Arbiter. And this is the first point in the game where the two, I guess, main protagonists meet each other.
Yeah.
The Arbiter meets the Master Chief meets the Arbiter. They hate each other, obviously. The Arbiter is sworn to kill the Master Chief is sworn to kill the Arbiter, but mainly just all Covenant.
And they're just going to become bros later on.
And the Gravemind gives both of them a task that they have to both complete, and he teleports them out of there. teleports the Master Chief to back
High
on.
Charity, which is the city of the Covenant.
Yeah, he teleports the Master Chief to High Charity,
I hate the High Charity mission.
and then he teleports the Arbiter, I think, back onto the Halo Ring?
Back onto the Halo Ring where the firing sequence will happen. And with the Arbiter, you link up with Elite forces and begin to fight Brute and Covenant forces as you go to stop the firing mission. Now this is where you see one of the coolest things ever. Johnson piloting a Scarab.
Yeah, you fight through the mission. What's it called? You gather more forces, and then you realize that you're gonna need bigger guns to get past what you're trying to get to. This is when Johnson shows up, or this is when you see Scarab, and you think, well, shit, we just lost. Because it's a Scarab versus the Arbiter. The Arbiter isn't the Master Chief. He is not that all-powerful. And then Johnson starts speaking, and you realize that Johnson took over the Scarab, and then Johnson realizes they're both fighting for the same cause. They're both trying to stop the Halo rings from going off, so they team up.
And it's pretty badass.
Now you cut back to the Master Chief on High Charity, which is the Covenant main super home world, and the Flood are already here. The Flood landed in a Pelican, got off, and started killing everything.
Yeah, and so now you have to fight through the Covenant and the Flood. You find another Prophet dead.
Well, he's about to die. You find a Prophet on the floor that was trying to escape High Charity.
Finish him.
And he's fighting off a little Flood bastard, and you either shoot the little Flood bastard, or you take it off of him and pop it in your hand because you're a total badass and you just do whatever the hell you want. Blow it up in your hand, and he just falls over and dies after telling you a couple things. You fight through this mission, and then you get towards the end, and you have to leave Cortana there. Because she can blow up High Charity and the Flood, but only using, what is it? Not the Pillar of Autumn, the...
Forward on the Dawn.
No,
not the Forward on the Dawn. The In Ember Clad.
Yeah, the In Ember Clad, which is the human ship that landed there on High Charity.
Yeah. You escape by getting onto the flagship of the Covenant fleet and hiding on. And then you go as the Arbiter, you fight the Elite Brute Chieftain, kill him, and end the battle. And... Fuck. Whatever. The, basically after that, you have to, kill the Chieftain, and then the campaign ends with Chief coming in.
The campaign goes to Chief coming in on the Covenant's... What is it? It's like a...
It's a Forerunner warship.
Alright. It's basically a giant, almost like Ark-looking thing. And he gets transported back to Earth. And what's it called? They ask the Master Chief what he's doing on that ship. And this ends with probably one of the greatest
I'll
lines
look it up.
Of Halo's career, in my opinion.
Let's see where. Oh, you found it.
What's it doing?
Communicating at superluminal speeds with the frequency of
Communicating with what?
the other installations.
Show me.
Fail-safe protocol. In the event of unexpected shutdown, the entire system will move to standby status. All remaining platforms are now ready for remote activation.
Remote activation? From here?
Don't be ridiculous.
Listen, Tinkerbell, don't make me...
Then where? Where would someone go to activate the other rings?
Why the Ark? Of course.
And where, Oracle, is that?
We've got a new contact. Unknown classification.
It isn't one of ours. Take it out.
This is Spartan 117.
Anyone hear me? Over. Isolate that signal. Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
The Master Chief is basically Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, the Terminator, which is just Arnold Schwarzenegger as a robot.
The Master Chief
Chuck
is,
Norris, Bruce Lee.
he's full of one-liners. He doesn't say a lot.
He's been thrown together to create just like the most badass person ever.
And that will conclude Halo 2's main story. Anthony, any questions? You've been kind of quiet this whole podcast,
It's not like I know much about any of them.
but you can still ask questions about it.
That's true, but don't really have very many.
Anything,
Story seems pretty basic.
anything interesting that you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. The one-liner person seems kind of funny.
Master Chief or
Yes.
Johnson?
Both of them.
Johnson is pretty funny.
I know what the ladies like.
No, you don't. Clearly, you don't.
No.
If you're speaking like that.
That's something Johnson says, dumbass.
I know. It's a joke.
But anyways, that'll conclude Halo 2's campaign. Come back again for our third podcast in this series, talking about Halo 3. This has been Geek Refuge signing off. Goodbye.
Did you press stop or you were supposed to press stop?